Going back to the beginning can be a pain. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 annoying things about prequels. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at the aspects of film and TV prequels that some find irritating.
What about a prequel to something? Everybody loves prequels.
I don't.
Ugh.
Number 10. Pointless fan service.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Fan service, for those unfamiliar with the term, is the depiction of references that fans of the material recognize. Everybody loves fan service when it's from their own fandom, right? It's like the creators are giving you a nudge and a wink, sharing a joke that only a certain percentage of the audience will get. Prequels often feature call forwards to the original material, which, while great for those in the know, can feel a bit alienating for those who either haven't seen the source material or don't know it as well.
Hi, Amy. And what are you studying? Waitressing.
We've all been left out of an in-joke before, and that rarely feels good. Number 9. It looks newer than the original.
What's in there? An Altarian marsupial.
The fact that prequels are made after the original story inevitably means that the creators are going to have access to technology and film techniques that are more impressive than when the original was made.
Well, I'm sure there have been amazing technological advances in the industry, but surely you must have some sort of training program.
Even so, in some cases, especially in the sci-fi genre, prequels set years before the stories that spawn them often look inexplicably more technologically advanced.
I don't care.
Seeing a civilization regress backwards makes sense in the context of some stories, but not in most. And anything that causes the audience to suspend their disbelief that much more should be avoided.
I've heard enough of this, and I'm asking you to pull the plug.
Number 8. Every backstory is a tragic backstory.
I'm so proud of you, honey.
Prequels are an opportunity to show the origins of beloved characters from the original story.
Father!
Stay where you are, James.
Unfortunately, most of their backstories feature a lot of tragedy and misfortune. While this does help create good drama, when every character has a tragic past, prequels can take on a somewhat homogeneous feeling, which can numb the audience's enthusiasm for the stories themselves.
I promise you two things. You will suffer more pain than any other man can endure, but you will have your revenge.
We know things usually get worse before they get better, but it's nice to see that sometimes the opposite can be true too.
Why'd she have to die? Why couldn't I save her?
Number 7. Where were you when we needed you?
We think you might be able to help us.
Despite taking place earlier in the fictional timelines than their predecessors, prequels often introduce new characters of their own. However, unfortunately for both of us, and the heroes themselves, these new characters, even if they survive, often disappear from the narrative in the original story.
Any idea where he's been all that time?
Their strength, skills, or knowledge would probably have been invaluable in the original, but they naturally can't be there due to the fact that they haven't been invented yet.
Well, Darwin's already a nickname and, sort of fits. Adapt to survive and all.
This naturally causes a few problems as far as the plot goes, but we'll go into that later.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Logan.
Listen, I ain't leaving here till you tell me where Victor is.
Number 6. They don't progress the original story.
I ain't here to be your friend. I'm here to make money.
No matter how good or welcome prequels are, they will always have a weakness that sequels do not. They are unable to progress the story the audience originally became invested in.
And look! Hours of excitement.
While prequels can expand on the universe of the story and add further depth to beloved characters, they still usually fail to provide a sense of forward momentum to the narrative.
We can't just let you walk away.
Now, this may seem to be an inescapable, fundamental aspect of prequels, but what annoys us doesn't always have to be logical or fair. Besides, on rare occasions, some prequels manage to set things up for further sequels. Number 5. They're made to cash in.
Indeed.
A common criticism of most movies nowadays is that they're only made to make money, with big franchises seen as the main offenders.
Ariel, leave it alone.
No! We haven't done anything wrong.
Prequels are often perceived as being less risky than sequels, since they offer guidelines for the creators to tell a story, lines to color inside of, as it were. However, by the same token, minimal effort is often put into them, which only enhances audiences' perceptions that the movies only exist to make easy money. Although there are plenty of exceptions, there are enough examples of cash grab prequels that we understand why their overall reputation has suffered.
To scare people away.
Number 4. You already know which characters will survive.
We can only judge the future from what we have suffered in the past.
It can be difficult to get invested in new characters in prequels, since one of two things is going to happen. They're going to die, or they're not going to appear in the original.
Killing me won't save your precious Lycan.
In addition, the younger versions of the characters from the source material obviously can't die in a prequel, so much of the danger that they get into can fall flat for some viewers.
Humans upset. Tannis, please, take a note of what pain that brings me.
Basically, knowledge of the original story removes some of the tension and inherent drama from the prequel's plot, although people that are introduced to the prequels first may still be able to experience it.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director.
Number 3, needless origin stories.
We're supposed to live happily ever after. Same with me and Betty.
Some prequels are necessary to flesh out an underdeveloped character, or are at least interesting enough that they're worth watching on their own. But many prequels out there depict the origins of characters that few people, if anyone, needed or even wanted to know more about.
This is all my fault.
Besides reminding audiences that they're essentially cash grabs, these sorts of prequels usually only serve to tarnish the memory of the original story and characters by trying, and failing, to add backstory to a character that didn't need one in the first place.
Oh, Villain Con, Orlando!
Number 2, you know how it ends.
Is it on? Is this thing working?
Similar to knowing who lives and who dies, the very fact that we've seen the originals often removes our ability to be surprised by any plot developments in prequels.
What's my name?
What's my name?
We know the state of affairs in the source material, so prequel plots are often quite easy to predict. While it can be fun seeing how all the puzzle pieces add up to the picture we're familiar with, it removes the number of possibilities for the story, and viewers like to be kept guessing, most of the time.
You thought you could kill me? Me!
Number 1. New information causes plot holes.
Where to even start? It's riddled with plot holes. There's no logic to it.
Prequels are a good way to flesh out characters in the worlds they inhabit. However, sometimes newly revealed information or a character's actions conflict with those that were presented in the original story, creating a plot hole.
Feel lost.
Lost? What do you mean?
Logical inconsistencies are common in nearly every story in all media, but in prequels especially, they can feel very annoying. After all, the creators should know what came next in the story, right?
She is more foolish than I thought.
Because of their nature in telling stories within a previously established scope, there's an expectation that prequels should be less prone to plot holes. Yet sadly, this is not the case.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.